Company business. Thank you very much.
Well, good evening and welcome to another Sky Blue History podcast with myself, Claudio, and of course our club historian, Jim Brown. Now, between the two of us, Jim brings the brains and I bring, well, let's just say the enthusiasm. If this was a football team, Jim would be the midfield general pulling the strings, and I'd be the lad up front chasing shadows, a la Bassett, trying to keep up. Tonight, we'll be reflecting on Saturday's big news, Doug King buying the CBS Arena, and of course, looking at the results, stats, and everything else from what was truly a momentous day. And hard to believe that this time last week, all we were really hoping for was a simple little 2-0. Victory. Good evening, Jim. Do things feel a little different since Saturday?
They certainly do. What a wonderful day it was on Saturday. It was almost a perfect day, wasn't it? After all the years of trouble and strife, to finally get to own our own stadium again, it was fantastic news. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was an April Fool. Because it was you that told me, sent me a text. I didn't believe it at first. I was eating, almost choked on my bran flakes.
I goose pimpled up. I felt a bit emotional. It's almost like a relief, wasn't it? Finally, it's been put to bed, and we can just concentrate on football, basically. Yeah. Because it just hovers there, doesn't it? It's just lingering, like a bad smell, really. The fact we don't own the ground. Considering we owned it for so many years, obviously the Highfield Road.
Yes,
that was ours, wasn't it? The land and everything at Highfield Road.
It was, yes, it was ours. And if you remember, back in we were talking about the 1930s. The club bought the freehold from Colonel Sidley of Hawker Sidley fame, and we're paying him back at so much a week when the Second World War started, and the old gentleman led us off the repayments during the war. But yes, we obviously haven't owned the CBS or Rico Arena since it opened. You remember that basically the club couldn't afford to pay for it after the trauma of relegation in 2001 and the demise of the TV deal. You can remind me which company went bust and left us holding the baby, basically. Yeah. But the club had obviously had severe financial difficulties in those post-Premiership years, and basically we had to go cap in hand to Coventry Council and the Higgs charity. Little did we know the travails that would involve over the next 15 years, really, or more. Obviously ACL were the owners, backed by the council, and we had the obviously the problem of rent and the move to Northampton, a return, only to discover just a matter of weeks later that the new owners were Wasps, who had cozied up to Coventry Council. And we had another several years of being the tenant to a not friendly landlord, and obviously ended up at St Andrews for 2 years, only to return in 2021 as a much stronger football team, obviously back in the Championship, but still hamstrung by the rent deal, the problems with the pitch after the Commonwealth Games rugby, and we were only able to get a 5-year deal, which has caused some consternation for the fans, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, at one point, Mike Ash had to pay for the remaining 3 home games of the season, was it? So we could actually play the games.
Yes.
At one stage, and that's where
yes.
I think he got first dibs, didn't he, at the stadium when it went to when it was sold, basically when Wasp hit the wall.
Yeah.
But it is fantastic, isn't it? And Doug walked out, and he was a bit like Augustus Caesar, wasn't he? The way he walked out.
He certainly was.
But fair play to him. When I shook his hand, it's just amazing. I think it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And I think it's drawn a line under it now, and it's start a new chapter, start afresh is how I'll look at it. I think.
Yes, and we've got one owner, one man, a benign dictator. Do you think?
That's a good way of putting it. I think he's certainly, yes, he's holding all the strings. Is that the right expression?
Yes. I think the amazing thing was that there were no leaks at all.
Yeah, well, that's how he operates. That is how Doug King operates. This is why when there's rumours about transfers as well, I take no notice whatsoever, because he's said to me before, he doesn't like things getting out. He doesn't want to show his hand.
No.
And I think it's the best way. He is the puppet master without a shadow of a doubt. He's running that club now.
Yes, and I'm sure it's the way he runs his business.
Yeah.
And it's the way that the majority of businesses, top businesses in this country, do operate. They only come out with news when it's necessary to tell the shareholders that what's going on. And I think he's done an excellent job keeping that one under wraps. I did listen to Frank Lampard being interviewed, and he indicated that he only knew about it on Friday night, late on Friday night. He said, which, if that's the case, that is incredible to keep it from Frank.
It also made me wonder about the extension that the EFL gave us for the rental agreement, which should have been done by June, and then they said we'll give you till the end of August, which is a bit odd, because why would they? We've had a lengthy amount of time to sort out a rental agreement to extend it to 10 years. So I just wonder whether or not those that needed to know knew, basically. And because these matters are delicate, because if the rumours come out, if somebody knows that someone's prepared to sell the ground, somebody else will probably jump in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like Wasp did.
And even telling the EFL must have been a risk for him, because some of these organisations are full of leaks. I just think he's done a masterful job in negotiating with Mike Ashley, who's well known as a tough negotiator, and for keeping it under wraps. Wonderful news.
It is. So the potential is massive now, because we could actually rename the stadium, couldn't he? You could get somebody else in it. It could end up being the Monza Arena, for all we know. Because that deal was made with Wasp. And as you know, I spoke to Kieran Maguire just yesterday, and he says probably lawyers might get involved in that one, because they don't know how it stands up, the actual agreement with Wasp, and whether or not the CBS are still tied in for 10 years. Because it seems, unless Fraser's just thought, we can't be bothered, we've got the ground, we just let CBS sponsor the stadium. So I don't know how that all works, but we've
Yes.
definitely got the potential now to bring somebody else in. Would it be great if it becomes the JLR Stadium? Because it was meant to be the Jaguar Stadium originally, wasn't it? That was the whole idea, wasn't
It was. Although JLR's public image is not that bright at the moment, is it?
No, it would have been great 20 odd years ago, wouldn't it? But
Yeah.
but-
Oh, I think the Coventry Building Society is very, very good. But who knows? In the Premiership, he might be able to get a much bigger sponsor.
yeah,
That's a different league, isn't it?
that's right.
It
definitely is. So we had a magnificent win on Saturday, 7-0.
Yeah.
I've never been up and down so much in a first half. You've got a few pointers on that. You've also got something to say about the old 5, I believe, because you found out some more info.
I did, and we talked about the expression "the old 5" after City hit 5 at Derby, and that term was used very often in the 1930s when Clary Borton and co were knocking in 100 goals a season, 4 years out of 5. But I had an interesting email from a fellow City historian, Mike Young, who's done a lot of research into the pre-league era, the pre-football league era. But he came up with an interesting take on it. I'll read what he said. The phrase "the old 5" was used in the Coventry area much earlier and must have been transmuted to CCFC from a venerable local club, Foles Hill Great Heath. And he sent me a cutting from a match report of a game between Great Heath, Foles Hill Great Heath, who back in the 1890s were one of the top clubs in the city and vying with singers, to be the top club in the city. So this match report comes from April 1900, and Great Heath are giving a thrashing to Stockingford. The game was played at Edgewick, so at 4-0, I'll read out what it says. It's 4-0. The visitors made several efforts to open their score, but were unsuccessful, generally sending wide behind when they got within shooting distance of the home stronghold. Great Heath missed a couple of chances of raising their score to the old 5 through dallying with the leather in the goalmouth. And it was with difficulty immediately afterwards that the Stockingford siege was raised. Teds brought up the home total to the desired 5 with a long, low shot, which would have taxed the skill of any goalkeeper had he been between the posts, which Powell was not at the moment.
There you go. Even then, if you do the ticky-tacky football in defence, you're going to get caught out.
Yes.
I like that. Dallying. I didn't realise it was that old a word.
Good old Powell in the goal. Goodness knows where he was. But I love that. Dallying with the leather.
Yes. There's an old leather ball behind me, Jim. You can just see it. I don't know if you can see it.
So that was a Coventry and North Warwickshire League game from April 1900. And it's got a full report of the game with the lineups, even got the referee. Final score 5-0 and the old 5. So it goes right back to those days. So we had this wonderful performance against Queen's Park Rangers, and of course it was the biggest win the club have had at the arena since it opened 20 years ago last weekend. What a way to celebrate that anniversary as well.
Yeah.
And of course, we were talking before the game that QPR with the original first opponents, and we beat them 3-0, and they even showed Klaus Jorgensen's goal and Dele Adebola's 2 goals on the big screen.
Yeah, he was doing the lounges. Dele was
he?
Yeah.
Well, and Klaus was on the phone to Rob Gurney, or was it Rob Gurney? Anyway, on CWR on the Friday night, and sounding as young as ever. Klaus, a couple of things I picked up from his conversation was that he said that he lived only 10 minutes away from where Victor Torp came from.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did say that,
which I thought was fascinating.
And didn't Oggy say something like, "Is there any chance you can find some more Victor Torps?"
Yes.
I thought it was quite good, and I didn't realise how much he watched the City as well when he was here. He sounded like he was a regular.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was, and he had a local business, didn't he? A flooring business before he went back to Denmark. But the other thing I picked up is his son is on City's books in the academy.
Ah, that's interesting. Yes.
So he comes over quite a lot to see his son, obviously. I was racking my brains to when we last won a league game by as many goals. And you have to go back to October 1963, when we entertained Shrewsbury Town in the old Division 3. And Shrewsbury were beaten 8-1 with this was in the first half of that season when we eventually were champions of the 3rd division. We had a wonderful first half of the season. We were, I think it was 9 points clear on New Year's Day, 1964, before having a sort of mini slump. But we eventually got over the line and won promotion. But that Shrewsbury game was one of the highlights. It was a night game. Because it was a night game, I wasn't there. I was going to some Saturday games that season, but I didn't see the wonderful 8-1. So it's actually the biggest win that I've ever seen in the league for Coventry City. That was an interesting game, that Shrewsbury game, because the Shrewsbury goalkeeper was a young lad called Len Beale, and he was only 17 or 18 years old. And I don't know why he was playing, because their regular goalkeeper was a guy called Alan Boswell, who later went to Wolves. I presume Boswell was injured, and this Len Beale was called up quite late on to play. The poor lad had a nightmare. Obviously, City were a very good team with, Hudson, Ronnie Rees, Ernie Machin, the whole shooting match. But poor old Len Beale, he never played for Shrewsbury again. It was his one and only appearance for Shrewsbury. Then I looked at non-games. Start again. Then I looked at cup games, and there have been 2 cup games since 1963 where we have bettered that 7-1. There was the 8-0 League Cup win over Rushden and Diamonds in 2002, and a 7-0 FA Cup win over Macclesfield Town in 1999. Have you got recollections of those?
Yeah, I do. It's what's really weird, when they're so high scoring, you kind of stop celebrating the goals, don't you? It's weird. Even on Saturday, it became odd that we were 5-0 up. So we get to 3-0, we get 4-0, you just think that's game won surely. But when you're talking 7 and 8, it's, I don't know. I mean, I started laughing when we scored the 6th one on Saturday, because I thought, what is going on? But those 2 games I do remember. I remember the Macclesfield one more than the Rushden Diamonds one, actually. Yeah,
I don't think I was at the Rushden Diamonds. I was definitely at the Macclesfield one, because I do remember Darren Huckabee getting a hat-trick for the second, was it the second Saturday?
Yes.
Certainly he got 2 hat-tricks in successive games, didn't he? Macclesfield were a league club at the time, I think. They were probably a 4th division club at the time. So then I looked at a 5-0 half-time score. And I first of all thought that I know we beat QPR 7-0 in 1933. For a moment, I thought we'd hit all 7 in the first half. But I checked it out, and actually it was 0-0 at halftime. We scored 7 in the second half.
That's just incredible.
Yeah.
It's slips in the tea, I think.
Yes. So it's the first time then we've been 5-0 up at halftime in any game. We did manage 5 in the first half of an FA Cup game against Bath City, who were non-league at the time. That was in 1929,
Right.
but that was 5-1 at half time. So that's been bettered. What did you think of the goals on Saturday?
I thought a couple of them were great goals, but there was some good movement. And I know QPR sort of played into our hands on a couple of occasions, but we put a lot of pressure on their defence. But there's one goal where Asante ran through, and I think some people thought he'd gone too far, but then he slipped it sideways, and it was beautifully finished. Haji Wright's 2 goals are good finishes. Just came in on the run, didn't he? Just take it.
Yeah.
And that's a Victor Torp. That was his second goal was just marvellous. You know, he scored quite a few like that,
That was
hasn't
the
he?
pick of the bunch, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, he scored quite a few like that, though, hasn't he? From a distance. You know,
He has. I thought he had his best game for the club. But the thing about the goals, the one thing, we only had eight shots apparently.
Yeah, that's right.
And we scored 7 goals. I think it says a lot about our finishing.
Yeah.
It was brilliant finishing. There were no tap-ins, no penalties. They were all from open play.
I love the Santos finish, the way he just hit it. Just don't think about it, just put it in.
Yeah. And the fact that we only had 8 shots, it caused the Athletic magazine to write a whole piece on the XG. Now, this is the stat I don't fully understand. I don't fully understand this XG, but I think it's, if you say, oh, the Coventry's XG for the game was X, that's how many goals we were expected to score.
Yeah, and I think I know what you're going to say here, because it's quite funny, this.
Yeah, well, our XG on Saturday was 1.27.
Yes.
So they only expected to score just over 1 goal. And it says, I'll just read out what the Athletic says. As with any XG over performance, our first port of call is to roll back the tape and look at the finishes themselves. Did Coventry just hit their efforts absurdly well? Looking at the shot map that they put online, it's clear that speculative sharpshooting played a big role in their result. 2 goals came from outside the box, and the overall XG per shot stood at a paltry 0.07. So it's caused a bit of an uproar on the Athletic. These people, they take this XG so seriously, and we've just blown it out the water.
Well, that's how they do the betting, don't they? When they do the betting during the games, that's how they base it on.
Yes, yeah, I think it's an Opta type measure, isn't it? I think Opta do all the measurement.
Because according to the XG, I think the game should have been 2-1 to us.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
1-0 even. Not.
yeah. So I think it was absurdly good finishing. I've got no doubt. So should we talk about some of the other? The other thing that it was, not only was it the biggest win at the CBS, it was also our biggest win in the championship or the second division, which obviously the championship is.
Oh,
And it equaled the record, which was set in 1922 on Christmas Day, when the Bantams beat Wolves 7-1.
oh, superb.
The goal scorers that day, Bill Toms got a hat-trick. Hugh Richmond, his nickname was Rubberneck Richmond because he had this long neck, and his speciality was headed goals. He got 2. Joey Jones, a centre half, got 1, and Alan Wood got the other one. I looked at there's 10 Coventry City victories since 1919 that have got a higher score. So it's the 11th highest score we've achieved in over 100 years.
Okay.
The record victory, 9-0 against Bristol City in 1934.
Yes, which is what I was hoping for on Saturday. We
know.
still had half an hour.
I know. I was looking at that. I was looking at it thinking, yeah, come on, break that record. There've been 2 8-0s. One of them I've already mentioned, that's the Rushden and Diamonds League Cup. We also beat Crystal Palace 8-0 in 1932. There's 2 8-1s. They mentioned the Shrewsbury one. There was another one against, would you believe, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, we like to duff up Crystal Palace and QPR.
We did in the 30s. Yeah, that was 1935. So there's an 8-0 in 32 and an 8-1 in 35. And then we've got 5 7-0s. We've got the Macclesfield game, I've already mentioned, in the FA Cup. We beat Rotherham 7-0 in 1926. That was in the old Division 3 North, our one season in that division. The following season, we beat Aberdare Athletic 7-0 away from home.
Wow. Is that
That's
the biggest
a record away win. Then we beat QPR 7-0, I've mentioned, in 1933. And finally, we had a 7-0 win over Scunthorpe in the FA Cup when they were a non-league side in 1935. So that's the top 10, and now we've got this QPR 7-1 is up there in 11th position. So, what did you notice about the scorers on Saturday?
About the scorers? Oh, let's think then. So, Wright got 2. Torp got 2. Rudoni got 2. Is it something to do with players scoring 2 goals?
That's it. Yeah. 3 players got a brace. First time that's happened since that Rushden game in 2002.
Right.
So do you know who's got the goals that night?
Surely McSheffrey got a couple.
He got 3, actually.
He got 3, did he?
Yeah.
Who would have scored? Michael Doyle knocking about then? Would he just?
No, it's before Michael Doyle. I'll put you out your misery. Lee Mills got 2.
Blimey.
And Jay Bothroyd got 2.
God, the forgotten striker.
Yeah. And the last time we had 3 players with braces in a league game was that Shrewsbury game in 63. That night, Ronnie Rees got a hat-trick. George Hudson, obviously, 2. And Hugh Barr got 2. Before that, you have to go back to the 1930s, but in those days, it was quite common. We did it on 5 occasions in the 30s, and every one of them included at least a brace by Clary Borton.
Of course.
Yeah. So it was a wonderful performance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we played the League Cup game this week, which I kind of, after Lord Mayor's show, wasn't it, Jim? I think, I don't know if you watched it last night. I wasn't.
I did. I didn't go.
No, it was a bit sloppy, wasn't it? A bit, yeah, it wasn't great, was it? Considering players have got a chance to prove themselves, they almost played like they knew they were not going to get selected anyway, because I think Frank's got his 11 already for Saturday.
Well, it's not the way to approach it, though, is it?
No, but it certainly felt that way. 2 or 3 of the players. I can excuse the young ones. I mean, Kai Andrews is just a young lad, isn't he? So,
did you think? Yeah, did you think that he made too many changes?
Yeah, I kind of do actually, because I know people going about it. Oh, it's just the League Cup. We're not interested, but I can assure you, Doug King wants. He wants to get through, and he'll want to play somebody decent at home and get a big crowd there, like we did against Spurs.
Yeah.
I don't think he had to make as many changes. And what's interesting is that he actually played Grimes from the start, which I thought he's one of the players you might rest, purely because he's older than the others, and he is too valuable for the team, I think, too. But it was disappointing, I think. I mentioned in our show last night, disappointing result, disappointing display. But overall, I'm not that disappointed, if that makes any sense, because it's no one got injured, and we move on to the next game.
I think it's. I think it was difficult for those 8 players coming in. They're all on the fringe. They're all sitting on the bench. 2 of them at least are new signings, settling in. Kessler, Hayden, and Brow. I think it's asking a lot for them to just go out there, cold from the bench and put in a performance. They did look at times as though they didn't know each other, which is understandable because they haven't played together other than the Luton game. And the Luton game wasn't exactly a thriller, was it?
No, we were good for the last 20 minutes in that as well, really, weren't we?
Yeah.
I think. And the same happened last night when he put the big boys on.
Yes. I thought there were 1 or 2 performances which were questionable. I thought Jamie Allen struggled.
Yeah.
And I thought Brow was a bit lost with. I think found it difficult with their muscular approach. It's probably the first English side he's seen where they really are, put it about a bit. And I think although he did some good things, he got a couple of good crosses in. He got in good positions in their box in the last 20 minutes. Could have scored a goal. He could have scored the equaliser, couldn't he?
Oh yeah, bit more composure. He should have hit the target.
Yeah.
I thought Ellis Sims struggled only because he'd got nobody around him.
He did win some headers, and there was nobody to pick up the pieces, were there?
Yeah, I think if Torp and Rodoni are on the pitch, they're going to be up to him quicker than Jamie Allen and Kay Andrews were going to be, and I think that's where he suffered. So I kind of felt sorry for him, really. It was that was a tough ask for him to be up there. And Asante didn't look as good without right up front with him, because Asante looked fantastic on Saturday. I thought he did. He looked like the player that was at the Albion, basically.
Yes.
So, but the only thing is, the next round, I think the match would have been between Leicester and Birmingham.
Right.
So that would have been a dilemma, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
And Blues have gone out. as well, haven't they? They
Yeah.
made 10 changes, I'm told.
It's funny because I mean, we're digressing a bit here from Coventry City, but their fans were having a good old moan as well. So at the end of the day, we don't want to lose matches, do you? Or you know,
No,
it's inevitable you're going to lose a match, but it's how you lose, isn't it? And that was a bit
yeah.
of a damp squib last night. And I think
What about the goals?
well, yet again, 6 goals, 6 set pieces. I've
Yeah.
gone on about it for 2 years. We've got this similar defenders play most of the games. I know we made changes yesterday, but we just I don't know what it is. We can't deal with crosses.
Well, I've got a theory here. People say, "Oh, we conceded 6 goals." 6 goals from set pieces. All of those set pieces, we've had 11 players in our box. So why do we blame the centre backs?
Mm,
Yeah, the first goal was probably down to Andrews being muscled out,
yeah,
and the second one, the man marking that centre back wasn't one of our centre backs. Our centre backs were on the 6-yard line, protecting the goal.
yeah.
I don't know who it was. I suspect it was Victor Torp's man.
Which I think originally it would have been Ellis Sims because his guy was marking Ellis, wasn't it? Who
Yeah,
scored?
yeah. Well, have a look when you get a chance. Have a look at the playback. I think it was Victor Torp lost him. The guy had a free header. No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think you can blame the centre backs. You've got to blame the whole team when you've
Yeah.
conceded 6 set pieces and they're all in the box.
The problem is we got a zonal defence, haven't we? So they're static. So anybody running in has got a head start straight. So the idea is somebody has to block them off or make
Well,
it hard. But nobody did block him off. He just ran in and headed it.
yeah, it wasn't dissimilar to Ballard's goal at Sunderland, was it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
So I used to like the old man for man mark. Just pick your man up and stay with him.
Yeah. And I noticed again last night, we had no end of corners and free kicks, and we didn't win anything in the air, did we? I think Kitching won one and put his header over, but other than that, Millwall defended those set pieces really well. They looked very comfortable doing that as well, I thought. Yet we don't look comfortable, do we?
No, it's interesting because I think from corners, I think about 1% of goals are scored from a corner.
Yeah.
Basically, it's not a lot, and yet it feels like every time we give a corner away, they're going to score.
Yeah.
Which,
Well, and I worry a bit about Saturday because Oxford have got Michael Hellick, haven't they, who scored
yeah,
against us last year, and he's about 6'8". We've got to sort out defending set pieces as a team, not just rely on our central defenders.
yeah, and also that's down to unnecessary fouls. I mean, Saturday was exactly that in a game where QPR offered very little going forwards. They still managed to score a goal.
Yeah,
We gave a silly free kick away right at the end of the game.
yeah,
And then silly corners, as I call them, where there's no need to give a corner away. Just little things like that. If we cut that out of our game, then we'll be extremely hard to beat,
yes.
I think.
Well, you've got to say the fact that other than set pieces, we've kept 4 clean sheets.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 5, isn't it?
Yeah. So I
5
suppose
clean sheets.
so from
That's
open play, we're sorting it out, aren't we, really? It's
yeah.
just when there's
I
a dead
didn't.
ball.
I didn't think in open play last night. I didn't think we ever looked in
No,
trouble.
no.
We coped with their attack quite easily. How old is Kevin Lisby, by the way?
I don't know.
Because he played against us about 13 years ago, I seem to remember, for Leighton Orient. He's ancient. I didn't think he played particularly well either.
No. I just think it's we sometimes just let ourselves down, don't we? And I still think that's where that's the level we're at the minute. And I'm not sure anybody else is coming in the next, because of course the transfer market is still open for a few more days. It's all gone quiet, as they say, but that means absolutely nothing in the world of Doug King and Coventry City. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we won't lose anybody. That's the key, I think.
Well, I think Finn Azaz is having a medical with Southampton, I heard today.
Right.
So that's Southampton not going to buy Radoni.
Yeah.
And I heard also that Charlie Hughes is strongly linked to Crystal Palace at 14 million.
Oh, really? It's interesting.
There's no way, when there's a Premier club against us, with no way we're going to attract a player like Hughes.
Yeah, because Palace have lost 3 defenders, haven't they, in the transfer window, I believe.
Has Gooey gone then?
I think they've lost 3. Yeah, I don't know if he's gone, but I'm sure they've lost 3 defenders.
Yeah. And Eze as well.
Yes. So this is our best start for a few years, I believe. It's about. I mean, we've had. I'm trying to think, because last season wasn't great, was it? I reckon.
No.
I just thrown that at you, haven't I?
Well, we haven't had a good start. We had a reasonable start in 21-22, certainly at home, didn't we?
Yeah.
With that, we won the first 6 games at home, but looking back to that, after 3 league games, we were 4th in the table. We beat Nottingham Forest, lost at Barnsley, Victor missed a penalty.
Oh yeah.
And we won 1-0 at Blackpool. Then we beat Reading at home 2-1. It was a good start. In the end of September, we were 2nd in the league after we beat Peterborough at home, and then we lost 5-0 at Luton. It's after 3 games, it's a bit early to say it's a great start, but it's certainly a very promising unbeaten start.
That penalty was against Brad Collins, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, I think Brad Collins was in goal for Barnsley. Yeah,
it was. And Liam Kitching played as well.
Yeah,
and Michael Hennick played for Barnsley as well. Interesting. Yeah. So you think they will buy anybody before the deadline?
Yeah, and it's got to the point now, Jim, where I'm trying to think, where do we need strengthening? Well, definitely centre backs, because we can't rely on Latty and Jake Bidwell to cover, because I just don't think they're up to it. If Kitchen and Thomas are both injured or suspended, we've got problems in the middle of defence.
Mm-hmm.
That's no height and no pace, basically. Yeah. So we need somebody, definitely. Forwards, I mean, if Haji Wright came on last night, he looked bright again when he came on.
He looked fantastic.
Yeah, so if he's like that, we don't need anybody else up front. He's maybe a backup to Bissett, who's obviously out of favour. Sims, for whatever reason, cannot get going since that season where we got to the when we scored 17 or 19 goals, or whatever it is. He had a fairly below average season last season. I think it's just carried on from there. He's struggling. Thomas Asante looks like he's picked up a bit of form now. Hopefully the league form will carry on. So maybe we do need another creative midfielder, because midfielders get injured probably more often than defenders and forwards, I reckon, in our setup. I know Ben's around, but you don't know when Ben's going to come back in, do you? And he's Jamie Allen, Eccles when he comes back. We need more creativity, I think, basically, especially when we play teams who park the bus, as they say. That's my view on that.
So who are they going to who are they going to replace in the current team?
Well, it's not so much replace; it's just so we've got people around us. I mean, it's like Kessler Hayden. Is Milan going?
I suspect that they bought him on the basis that Milan would go, but it looked like he was off to Wolfsburg last week, but it seems the price has frightened them off.
Yeah,
I think they were talking about 10 million in the media, weren't they? I suspect Doug's holding out for more, and I don't blame him. I think he's worth more.
yeah.
I think he's probably one of the best fullbacks in the Championship right now.
Well, so there were silly quotes the other week. Somebody wanting to buy him for 6 million with add-ons. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's a chance in your arm. That is, you got no chance.
yeah.
He's I think they can hold out for more. But it'd be interesting though, because looking at it, for us to buy players, do other clubs think we've got the money to just simply spend? There's we've got a chairman who's just bought the ground. They're going to be thinking, oh, he's actually got a bit of cash, this bloke. The club are flush. It's difficult. I'll be surprised if we get more than one in, to be honest.
I would as well. I would,
because
unless Milan goes.
Yeah, because up until now, it's almost a net spend, isn't it? I think net zero.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and the point is as well, we haven't sold anybody, and I think really in our position where we're losing money on an operational basis every year, I think they need to sell one person every year.
Yeah,
and that's the model. That is the model. We're a club that develops players and sells them. Milan and Bobby are going to be 3 years into a 4-year contract next summer.
Yeah.
We're not going to get as much for them, are we?
No, from what I gather, there are a couple of players who are after longer contracts, so there's that as well.
Yeah.
But I think, see, it's interesting you say that, because Kieran Maguire did say, didn't he, that over 3 years we've lost about 5-6 million or something.
Yeah,
which is incredible when you think what you can lose over 3 years. I mean, that's really good compared to.
But Claudio, that's because we sold Vic and Gus.
Yeah.
You take their sales out of it, and we've lost 20 million, haven't we?
Yeah. So that's right. You sell one player, you clear your debt, don't you? You're back to zero again.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting the next week or so.
Yeah.
Of course, our next game's at Oxford. Have you got any stories in the past about Oxford? You got any memories of going to the Manor Ground and?
Yeah, I did. I remember the first time I went there was a pre-season friendly in 1969, and Oxford, I think they were a 4th division club, or they just won promotion to the 3rd division. Anyway, they wore those lovely old gold shirts with black shorts, and they had a midfielder called Ron Atkinson, whose nickname was Tank. He carried a bit of weight then, but he wasn't a bad player at all. He was very committed player, let's say. And so Noel Cantwell's team turned up, full first team, with a few interesting subs to come on, and we blew it. We lost 2-1 to Oxford. A big City contingent there, a lot of trouble in that old covered end at the Manor Ground. But of course, that was a precursor to our best ever season in the 1st division. We finished 6th, had a lousy pre-season, and then started the league campaign like a train, and were rarely out of the top 8 all season.
Of course, Ron, I think, is there a record appearance maker for Oxford?
I think that was his brother Graham.
I thought Graham was the leading goal scorer.
You might be right. You might be right.
I think Graham's the leading goal scorer, and Ron was the most appearances.
Right.
I mean, I went there first time in the 80s, and we lost 1-0, of course. And I sat in a makeshift. There's a makeshift stand. The
Yeah.
City fans were behind the goal in like an open terrace,
Yeah.
and we're sat in this stand where you couldn't see anything. It was terrible.
No.
And I remember taking a photograph of what I could. I don't know why I had a camera with me. I think it's because it's the first time I've ever been to the Manor Ground, and I took a photograph where you couldn't see the corner flag and half the 18-yard box from where I was sat. It was that bad. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And
fair
we
play.
didn't do well there in the 80s, did we? I
No,
think we lost 2 of the 3 games there.
yeah, that's some good players, didn't they? Oxford back then in that side.
Yeah, they had
Aldridge,
John Aldridge,
Houghton.
didn't they?
Houghton.
Dean Saunders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My memories of the Manor Ground was basically parking the car and walking to the ground with my dad going, this is like having a football stadium in the middle of Covington. It was a
You did.
bizarre. It was such a posh area, wasn't it? It was so nice where it was. It was weird.
Yes. Well, my wife's been in hospital at the Manor Hospital in Oxford,
Right.
which was built on the site of the old Manor Ground.
Right.
And you can still feel walking around those streets, as you say, it's quite a upmarket area. You
Yeah.
can still feel the ghosts of Oxford United around the area, but it's not as nice an area as it was.
Oh, right.
It is, I can assure you. Yeah.
Because they're moving to, is it Kidlington? Which is even
That's
nearer.
correct. Yeah, on the northern side of the city. Yes, because they don't own the Kassam Stadium. It's a guy called Kassam, isn't it?
Yes.
So they're the land. They've got landlords, and it's been a bit of a fractious relationship, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, just looking back to that we played them in 86-7 when we had a really good start to the season. And we lost 2-0 there. John Aldridge got a penalty just after half time and then got a second 12 minutes from the end. And just looking at the Oxford side, they had Ray Houghton, you mentioned, John Aldridge. They even had Steve Perryman in their side.
Blimey.
Yeah. And a player I always liked at West Brom, John Truick. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. And the attendance was 9,521, and that was full, I think.
Yes.
I seem to remember we were at the open end at the Manor Ground. I didn't, until last season, I didn't have good memories of the Kassam, actually, because I was there in the relegations, the League One relegation season, when we lost 4-1 there, and it was a pitiful performance. It was in the days between Tony Mowbray leaving and Russell Slade arriving. What was Mowbray's number 2 called?
Venus. Was it Mark Venus?
Mark Venus was in charge. Yeah, and we got absolutely thumped.
Yeah, I went there for the Carabao Cup. We lost 2-0, I think. It was probably a couple of seasons afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And then saw a pre-season friendly where we won, didn't we? I think that's the game where Callum O'Hare got injured in the actual friendly.
Right.
Yeah.
Because didn't he score his first City goal there the previous year?
He did, yes, right. That's right.
Very good goal. And then Frankie Dabo scored 2 own goals.
Yes, that was bizarre. We've had some bizarre. I mean, we're no different to all the other clubs.
No.
Yes, and well, talk about bizarre results. You'd never expect Celtic to go out of the Champions League, would you? For losing to a team from Kazakhstan, which is just
No,
incredible.
it is.
That's just
It is.
incredible.
Well, Celtic are doing okay in the league, but Rangers are struggling on all sides, aren't they?
Yeah.
I
Well, I
don't
don't
know.
understand, Jim. We've had so many different managers over the years, and they all like different styles. And Rangers have got Russell Martin, who just plays one way, and he
Mm,
will not budge from how he likes his teams to play.
mm,
And basically, they all seem to struggle at it.
mm,
And it seems like Rangers are struggling with his system, where he just wants to play
yeah,
it out the back, and it's. I'm just so glad he's not our manager.
yeah,
For me, what we talked about, didn't we, last week? The late 70s, the entertainment of watching your team just attack, attack, attack. We've had that at Derby, that second half. We had it last Saturday, and it's just great to watch, isn't it? It's just what
yeah,
you want to go to football for. Get your bum off the seat. Those ooh-ah moments, as I call them.
yes,
And this ticker-tacker, not dallying with the leather.
yes.
Basically,
Nothing with the leather.
it's not for me. That's a great name for a podcast.
Yes. Yes, and going back to last night, when the big guns came on, we suddenly looked a potent
Yeah,
force, didn't we?
yeah,
Um, there were chances for us to not only draw it but win it. As we said, Hadji looked to. Is he just fitter or is he more confident? But he looked a different animal.
yeah. And he's when he celebrates his goals, there's a difference there.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
he's feeling the love kind of thing. I think maybe that's what's needed sometimes.
yes.
But you got to, as a person in any walk of life, sometimes you have to do it yourself. You've got to find the beast within you sometimes, haven't you?
Yeah.
Especially when you're playing sports.
Yeah, and it's an important season for him because he wants to be in the World Cup squad, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Um,
So if we had the money, do we go and get Josh Sargent to play with him? That'd be marvellous, wouldn't it?
yeah. We don't play two up front, though, Claudio, do we?
No, but he's a floater, isn't he? Josh Sargent could float around front with
So
him.
who would you have him instead of?
Well, currently it'd be Asante, wouldn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had the two, if somebody said to you Asante or Josh Sargent, well, there's only one of those you're going to pick.
Yeah. I'm surprised Sargent is still at Norwich, actually. I thought he'd go.
It's the same with Hamer at Sheffield United. I'm surprised no one's picked him up. It's because they're having a hell of a start, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Should we close today?
Yes. Have we got a special guest next week, I believe?
We have. We'll keep it under wraps, shall we?
Okay, then. We will.
Player from the 80s.
Oh, do a bit of research. It's only 40
Yes.
years ago, just like yesterday.
Yes.
That should be interesting as well.
It
Jim,
will.
thanks as always. Always a pleasure. Of course.
Thank you.
Remember to like and subscribe. I'll never get this out, do I? If you want to contact Jim, it's at claryborton@gmail.com. Any progress with the archives? I know you mentioned it last week. You just want help with the inputting, I believe.
Yes, we've had a couple of volunteers come forward, and in a few days we should be in a position to start training them. We've made good progress on a number of things, and we're all feeling very confident about rising from the flames, phoenix-like.
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple of thoughts, which I might put to Doug now, and that's simply this: we got the ground. Let's have a museum for a start.
Already raised it, Claudio. Already
Brilliant.
raised it. Yeah.
The second one was, how about retro bricks? I'm sure there's people, now it's our home, would happily buy for a slate maybe to be pinned to the wall of the stadium. Since I missed out last time, and I saw people would, that's me. So, have you got a brick? You must have a brick.
Yes, in the George Hudson Wall. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't because I was annoyed. And then
Yeah.
I said I must have been really annoyed because apparently they were £50 and £25. They're quite cheap, weren't they? I didn't realise. They weren't that expensive, were they? I don't
No,
think.
they weren't. They
Uh,
weren't. So you're going to Oxford?
no, I'm not actually.
Oh dear,
I
you're
know. Well,
slipping, aren't you?
well, it's a good thing because we'll probably win. So I'm doing my radio show, so I'm committed to that. So, yeah, it's is it 3 o'clock kickoff?
It is. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
I probably could have gone actually. Yeah, I could have gone actually. No, I thought for some reason I thought it was 12:30.
No.
Oh, no.
Okay, we'll see you
Right
next
then.
week.
See you next week, and hopefully another 3 points on Saturday. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
It would.
Good night.
Lady and company dismissed. Thank you very much.